Hi everyone, I'm excited today to share a very important video that I was asked about many times, and I thought to myself it's the right time to film something about it, and it's your CV. I'm not going to tell you how to improve your CV. We have been talking about research, we have been talking about your exam taking, whether you are applying here to the UAE, whether we are applying to the US, to the UK. There are basic things that you need to get good at. And I believe every medical student has a hold on these things nowadays. At least he knows or she knows what they need to work on. However, the purpose of this video is to tell you about some mistakes that are very common and to provide you with a free template. I know that many will jump now and look for the template in the description. Fair enough. However, even with the template, I believe if you don't listen to these advices, which are very common mistakes that our human nature and instinct will go on and commit every single time unless you have them active in mind, even write them down to avoid doing these mistakes when you are crafting your CV. The very first mistake is not including a summary section. That's a mistake that I have went through many times. Even if you have a limited CV in terms of, I didn't do that much of a thing, why have a summary to start with? Like, it's already summarized. No, have a summary. You need to have a summary at the forefront of your CV. Not everyone is going to have the time to read your CV. If you look into the US application cycle, they had about 2,000 point something applicants per program for internal medicine, for instance. So can you imagine the time they have to go through all of that? The time to go through all of these applicants and the different parameters that they have. It's not only your CV, there's other things. So when it comes to CV, they will really have look at it, and you want to present the main things that you want them to hear about in the summary section. And that's an important point that I will talk about in another point. What to include in your summary, what to focus on in your CV. Because a CV should not be a summary of your life. It should include your achievements, it should include the things you did, but you should have a CV directed toward the job you are applying to. Things I usually recommend to have in your summary include obviously any awards that you have won, your scores, especially if they are stellar or really good, not bad, I would say. You should mention them there. Research, the amount of publications that you did have. If there is a stellar volunteering experience that you have done, then definitely talk about it. If you have worked a job that's non-medical and taught you something about life, you can talk about it. So it will be in bullet points and it will be sentences that are short. However, it gives you the flexibility to at least express how and why you are putting this in the summary and how is it meaningful to the program or to the job, to the employee who's trying to hire you. So that's my advice in regard to the summary, which you should start your CV with. The second point is the order of things in the CV. And I have seen many individuals who send me their CVs, good friends of mine, and sometimes someone will start their CV with research. Someone else will start their CV with their volunteering experiences. Someone else will start with their professional experiences, like their internship year and the clinical exposure that they did develop and have. My best advice is to start obviously with your professional experiences. After the summary section, now you have summarized the amount of publications, you have summarized your scores, you have summarized a little bit from everything you have done. However, the next most important thing is your work. Did you work? Do you have any clinical experience that you did develop and did do? So that will be the second thing, and then you will run through your education, then your experiences including research, then your volunteering, and so on and so forth. Lastly would be your memberships. You don't put your memberships at the beginning. Everyone knows that at least 1 in 100 medical students, 1 in 100 who have memberships is actually doing something within the membership capacity, and it's not just paying a fee to have that AHA, ECG, whatever it is, on his CV. Did I say ECG? I said ASCG, so the American College of Gastroenterology. So this point is really important, and in the CV template that I did provide, it's really ordered, so that's ready for you to not prioritize something over something else. However, if you are applying for a position that's a research position, you might put your publications upward, and maybe your clinical experience should go downward, or maybe not mention it that much, or not go into details within it because it might be irrelevant. It also depends on the research position. If it was a clinical one and you are not like diverting from a clinical career, so you might as well keep the the professional experiences that you had in the positions that you did hold before your research. Another important tip, which the template will provide you with, but also you will find yourself writing in many times. So if you look at the template alone, it will not be there. Use bullet points, use bullet points, use bullet points. It's the same advice that you will hear about in the future when I make a video for next people cycle who will be applying to the ERAS. Whenever you have a space to write something down about an experience, about something you have done, use bullet points. People will not tolerate reading a 5-line paragraph or a 3 or 4-line paragraph, even 2. It's really tedious to the human eye. However, if you give me about mid-length sentences, or even if some of them are full sentence or almost reaching the end of the line, and you give me these in bullets, it's really better. And when you do these bullet points, use verbs. In the English language, your most strong sentence is the one with a verb that's active and not passive. Say that I have done this and that during this experience. Mention that. And the other thing, since I'm talking about this, which is also within this point, is to describe your experiences. You don't go on there and write that I co-founded Handle Them Better. That's something I have done with amazing colleagues of mine. I co-founded a campaign that promotes antimicrobial awareness among the Jordanian population, and not to take antibiotics when you have flu, and to really consider taking an antibiotic more seriously because there is no law that governs it and prevents it. It's basically OTC, over the counter. So you don't go on and just write, I co-founded this campaign to promote antimicrobial awareness. You go on and add bullet points below it. We did reach 70K views on social media. We did go to this and that. We did promote this and that. You need to, and if there's numbers, better. Wherever there is numbers, that's better. That's a quantitative measure that people can feel. Unlike words, someone who went to, let's say, Diabetes Awareness Day, he will go there, he will take some nice pictures, he will post them on LinkedIn. However, did he really help? Did he really have an interaction? Or was he there for the photos, the food? So you get me. People are not stupid. I'm not saying that if you do that, you lost. But at the end, you are in a world of competition. So if you have really done something meaningful, show it. Show it. Use your bullet points and talk about your experience using strong verbs. And I would say per experience, try to write 2 to 3 bullet points. So whenever you are mentioning an experience, 2 to 3 bullet points. A volunteering experience, a leadership experience, and so on and so forth. Number 4 is lying and contradicting yourself. Be very careful. This will fire back like hell. Never lie in your CV. Never lie in your CV, never lie in your CV. I have never instructed or advised someone to lie on their CV. First, it's unethical, haram if you are a Muslim, even if you are not a Muslim, I guess. But either way, you shouldn't be doing it. Why? Because imagine in the interview someone asks you about it. That will be really very difficult to handle. Forget about interviews. You end up matching somewhere, you end up going somewhere. People might bring it up. And I remember this from your CV or something like that. These things happen in real life. How will you answer back? You will, if you show them that you lied on the first day, like before the first day, like pre-first day, this is a very bad signal. And I'm not just talking about foreign individuals, everywhere. So don't lie, it's not a win. And to be honest with you, if there's something that you could lie about and convince people that it's true, then it's something that's not meaningful. It's very likely that it's not meaningful. You can't make a lie about something that's really meaningful, that will really make a difference. So don't do it. And on contradictions, what I mean is sometimes, and I have seen it in some CVs, there will be like 2 different conflicting points within the CV. It will not be that straightforward. The dates sometimes, like I did this experience at that time, and then at the same time he wasn't in the country where he did the experience, he was doing a US clinical experience. How come? So if someone catches this, I know that, again, I'm saying people are busy during application cycles, but if someone's eye did catch this, it's really a bad look for you. It's really a bad look for you. And they could be reviewing your CV during interviews. while they are asking you. So don't do that. Pay close attention. You do your CV once and you use it 100 times. You keep on updating it. So please pay close attention. You can set 2 days for making a perfect CV. Why not? We spend too much time doing nonsense. So pay attention to your CV. My last point, which again, I was just talking about lying. Before that, I was talking about sharing your experience in a thorough way with bullet points, telling what you did do. My point now is don't undersell yourself. So really do sell yourself. I know that you don't want to sound like cocky and yeah, I have done that. And I understand you don't want to sound arrogant, right? However, if you did achieve something, write it very well. Make it clear, I did achieve this. If it has a meaning, so just for the sake of example, in my CV, I write very clearly that I did score this in Yosemite Step 2 and it's the 100th centile worldwide. This is not being arrogant at all. And nobody will interpret it like this. You have the right to show your achievements. Never ever think of it as if you like it's. I could have just wrote Step 2 score 283. And people will still understand it, but you impress people more when you express that this is the 100th centile. And it applies to everything else. I know friends and people who were in my college who published 50 articles. Go on and write, I published 50 articles, and that was the top of my school, and I received an award for it. I did publish 14, I was the third, I went on and wrote about it. And I put it very clearly in my summary. So if you have an achievement that's really something you are proud of, do it. If you were the first on your batch, you will say, will they care that much? Do it, man. Write it up there. Make it very clear. You were the first on your batch. Many of the developing countries have large batches. Maybe you have 500 in your school. Mention that you were the first on 500 people. That's definitely something worth it. That's definitely something that took a lot of hard work and dedication from you. So make sure to write it very well. Don't undersell yourself. Rarely will people recognize anything in the CV and interpret it as being arrogant. When they will know if you're arrogant? In the interview, when they meet you in person. However, CVs, an achievement is an achievement at the end of the day. So nobody's going to recognize you or interpret you or say, he's most likely to be arrogant. Nevertheless, if you had achievements, I think in interviews, they will try to play with you, try to ask you some questions, try to show your arrogance if it's there, if it's pathological. And then you have to do a good job being the right thing, which is a humble person, proud of himself, but humble and looking forward for more. So that's 5 tips for your CV. So to recap, you have to have a summary at the beginning of your CV. This is really essential. Don't forget about it. The second point is the order of things, and I hope that the template does provide it with you. However, again, flexibility. It depends on the position you are applying to and its nature. The third thing would be to add bullets under each experience, using strong verbs in an active sense, talking about how did this experience shape you, what skills you learned, what was your contribution to it. Number 4, not to lie and not to contradict yourself. And the last point, not to undersell yourself, show your achievements, you are not being arrogant. So these were my advices. You can find the link for the CV template in the description section. As well, there you're going to find within that link, which is the free resources on my website, there is resources for step 1, for step 2 that are for free and it can be useful for anyone. So if you like this video, never forget to subscribe and also share it with your friends. It was nice talking to you. Go on, drink your coffee and continue progressing in your career. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.